our destiny on coffee is being controlled by really a small group of people that are playing games, betting. It's Vegas style
Mhm.
on, on something that we all survive on, right?
Hey friends, it's Lee Safar here with some exciting news. The introduction to regenerative coffee farming workshops are now available on demand in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. These workshops are designed to give you actionable insights into the future of coffee farming through regenerative agriculture. Whether you're a coffee producer, roaster, cafe owner, or just passionate about coffee sustainability. For coffee producers, the workshop is available for just $10, and for everyone else, it's $20, a small price to pay for knowledge that could transform your understanding of what it's going to take to grow coffee from now on. Led by our incredible professors Angela Barrero, Murilo Bettarello, Felipe Croce, Carlos Ordóñez, and João Araújo, the workshop is packed with practical knowledge and strategies to help coffee farmers and the entire coffee industry adapt to the challenges of climate change, rising costs, and market demands. If you're a business owner, this workshop is a great and affordable way to inform your employees about the challenges ahead while also supporting Mappa Forward. This is also a great workshop to share with or gift to your coffee producers. Head to mappaforward.coffee/workshops or click the link in the description to purchase the on-demand version and start your journey towards a more sustainable coffee future today. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mappa Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 4 of an exceptional series with Bob and Michelle Fish from Bigby Coffee. We are talking about behind the black curtain of coffee. And this black curtain is a kind of form of oppression, this kind of separation between the truth and the pretend in coffee. And in some places it's thin and you can sort of see through it, but it's still there. And in other places it's thick and you can pretend that there's nothing behind this black curtain. But there are consequences either way. So where do you want to start the conversation about what the consequences are? Because I feel like 2024 is a dress rehearsal for 2025 when it comes to consequences.
Totally. You know, theoretically, coffee prices are going up because of a drought in Brazil. Now, there may be many other factors contributing to that. Some of which, like the people like Brazil trying to get off the addiction to the USD, aligning themselves with the idea of a BRICS currency, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and so on. Donald Trump might put tariffs on any BRICS country. Maybe that's pushing it up a little bit. Maybe consumption is in fact higher than production. Maybe that's putting some pressure on it, and so on and so forth. The excuse being used right now is certainly climate change, and that is real. Okay? That is really real. And Brazil's a huge contributor to that, right? If you look at a lot of Central America, that's definitely understory growing of coffee in the rainforest, blah, 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 blah. In Brazil, it's like cut down all the trees, use herbicides, use pesticides, mechanically extract the beans, very low labor costs, and so on. They drive the price down. But meanwhile, they're like looking right in the face of the very climate change that they are contributing to. So when you cut down all the trees, and I never knew this, but the rivers dry up, right? Because what happens is when it actually does rain, the water just washes away almost immediately. It doesn't permeate in the ground. Also, you create heat spots so that when the cloud cover does come over, if it's 10 degrees hotter because there's no trees anymore, there's no transpiration, there's no evaporation, it never gets to rain. It moves on. It finds someplace else to rain instead, and so you get a drought and so on.
I didn't know that.
But all these things are stacking up on us today. Our son had allergies, right? And, he was allergic to some food and some air quality things and so on and so forth. And we always knew as parents that he could, out of his three major categories of allergies, he could deal with one or the other. But if on any given day he had all three, he'd get stacked and he would crack, right?
Wow.
And this is kind of where we are now in our world, that it's a little bit of everything and a lot of momentum on climate change that is putting pressure on this system, right? And you did a little video that I really liked, and that is, hey, coffee prices are going up, but for completely the wrong reasons, right? It's not due to sort of fairness to the producers or empathy for another human being or whatever. It's climate change is driving this, right? That is a huge consequence. That I've used this before. I shouldn't overuse it, but definitely this is the canary in the coal mine, right? It is happening right now. And to reel that back in is so complicated, so hard, so difficult. The momentum on that will create an environment where there will be less coffee for a population that continues to grow. Period.
People don't believe us.
I know.
Like, for real. And I don't know what else to do to help people understand the coffee's, it's not going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
But folks, for real, I'm telling you, I talk to producers every fucking day. For the ones that have all the flowering that's happening, a lot of the time it's not eventuating into actual fruit.
Correct.
I don't know how to explain that this is real, and there's no magical fairy that's going to fix it. It's going to take us decades to restore it through regenerative ag and agroforestry. And then you have other people that are saying they'll create coffee in labs. Have you tasted that shit? Nobody's going to believe it. Nobody's going to convert from drinking this to drinking that.
Yeah.
And the instant coffee, if you think that people are just going to switch over to drinking instant coffee, I want to remind you that it's not the price of specialty coffee that is getting bent over and fucked every way from Sunday right now. It's the cheap C market commercial coffee that's happening too. Absolutely. Which is what, okay, granted, C market is Arabica and what's in the tin is Robusta. There's no difference. Robusta is getting the same treatment. We are in a situation that is inescapable now. And after tasting this, coffee producers are not giving you coffee for $1.70 ever fucking again. It's not going below $3. And if you think it will, you're wishing and dreaming. And that's not financial advice for anyone who wants to sue me over it. But Michelle, what are some other consequences?
But, right now, our partners in Central and South America, the harvest is delayed. Honduras thinks it's going to be 3 weeks. It might be a month in Chiapas, 3 weeks in Nicaragua. It's raining and it's cold. And this is a climate change thing here.
La Nina.
If the rain continues, it in and of itself, the plant being too wet and not having ripened, there's a thing that can happen to those coffee beans. They split. So even though there's this fabulous price going on right now, woohoo, they may end up with half of the coffee being ruined. So that fabulous price won't make up the difference. So we might think that the fabulous price is like really good for coffee producers. This is going to be so great. But in fact, maybe not. Not enough to keep them afloat. You know what I mean? The acceleration of all things climate change related, including diseases, including new kinds of pestilence, it's going to ruin people's livelihoods regardless of where the sea market is.
Well, and for those, like, what do you have to say for those, like we were talking about the fact that coffee is a conduit for a lot of the peripheral markets that happen, whether it's the speculating that happens by the big traders, right? That's how they're really making their money this year is off the speculation and the hedging. Because in one day we can see it move up and down any number of times in brackets of 20 cents.
Yep.
So what are the other kinds of consequences that aren't necessarily like climate related, that are, how do those people get to run those businesses if the supply of coffee is eroded? Who's going to be buying the machines? Go ahead.
No, for sure. Who's going to be buying the machines? Definitely. But unfortunately, the people that speculate on coffee, they make money whether it's going up or going down, right? They make it on both sides of the equation.
Long and short.
And they're not passionate about coffee. So if coffee evaporates, they'll do that same thing, and probably are anyway, in some other industry, right? Mm-hmm. Commodity. And so our destiny on coffee is being controlled by really a small group of people that are playing games, betting. It's Vegas style, mm-hmm. on something that we all survive on, right? I mean, coffee as a commodity. It's often listed as number 2. I don't think it's actually number 2 after oil, but it's 3 or 4 at least.
It's 17.
17. And that always gets exaggerated, and I don't 100%. Know why. Yep. But it employs a lot of people in this world, a lot of people at every step of it, from a producer to a wet miller, to a dry miller, to trucking companies, to fertilizer companies, to exporting companies, to importing companies, to truckers again, to roasters, and so on and so forth. You'll see a shrinking of an industry. And what happens when an industry shrinks? Something else better grow, or economies will shrink, right? Mm-hmm. And this kind of consequence is not one-dimensional to coffee. It's one where we can engage people with, because nobody gives a shit about wheat futures. But people do care about their first cup of coffee in the morning, and coffee in general is a very romantic product, or it's been presented as such. And we can have people's attention on this and use coffee as the example of the systemic problems, the systemic economic problems that are being perpetrated, all of us in this world, throughout industries.
Do you think that people in broccoli care this much?
No.
That's a serious question.
No, I don't. But what happens when broccoli and spinach and asparagus and Brussels sprouts and lettuce all face the same thing? The one thing that we've not given a lot of attention to is something you've mentioned over and over again, which is regenerative farming. Mm-hmm. And what people don't realize is going on out there is the desertification of our soils, right? So Michigan, on an aerial map today, in the east side of the state, a high agricultural side of the state, we're a very wet state. We're not a dry state. Mm-hmm. Is actually experiencing desertification.
Wow.
And you would not believe it, right? So what happens when you use chemicals instead of natural methods to fertilize is you turn soil into dirt. And dirt is useless. It has no microorganisms in it. It has no biology to it. Mm-hmm. It's just like sand almost, mm-hmm. right? And once you turn your soil into sand, you are hooked on having to refeed it these artificial ingredients that make it worse yet again. But it is contributing worldwide to the desertification of our soils. So Michelle could do a lot better job of explaining what it means to hold on to the microbiome of our soils.
Well, I you did a pretty good job. So there you go.
I love these
soil-
two as a couple. I just have to say that on the air. I told them offline, like, these guys are on the border of making me believe in love again. It's very, very sweet. It won't happen.
We do.
I'm just saying.
I do think we're two of the luckiest people in the world who found each other. That is the thing.
Stop.
He is my partner in all things and my best friend.
I love it.
And we spent a lot of time thinking about dirt and which might not have got us.
I bet you do.
But
anyway.
No, but the fact, so we talk about sucking the life out of the soil. Literally, you're sucking all of the, the microorganisms, the soil structure itself. Yeah, the next thing that happens is the soil blows away. That's really what the Dust Bowl was in the 1920s in the United States. Overplowing, plowing is terrible for soil structure. Tilling is bad. And we just overdid it. And we made land that could no longer support people. And the thing about our population, globally speaking, is that it's not getting smaller. We have more people to feed. And so whether we're talking about coffee or we're just talking about the ability to feed the planet, we have to get off the chemical train. We've got to go move back to regenerative agriculture. If we're going to have a shot as a species, not to be having wars over food. And don't get me started on water. We are slowly suffocating ourselves, and we are ruining the planet for our own habitation. Right. And we've got to fix it.
And people do say, don't believe it.
We're trying to save the planet. And Michelle and I always have a big laugh because the planet will be fine, but we won't. So we're actually not trying to save the planet. We're trying to save the people on the planet.
It's very human of us.
Once
isn't
we're
it?
gone, the planet will find a way to recover itself for sure. This is a little fact that I think is maybe worth knowing. Maybe not, but chemical fertilizer was invented by a German scientist. That same German scientist also invented the chemicals that they used during the Holocaust, during World War II. Okay. Now that guy was given a Nobel Prize for his chemist version of nitrogen and fertilizer because it helped feed the world. Okay. But that guy was not a good guy. Okay.
You should also tell people why the Nobel Prize exists. Do you know who created?
I don't.
The Nobel Prize was created to cover up from the fact that the person who created it was a fucking monster who was going to get who was going to get put in. He didn't want attention for the fact that he was committing war crimes.
Yeah. You're right. There you go. So not surprised, not shocked.
At all.
No. But yeah, using chemical fertilizer works really good in the short term. In the long term, it takes what we call soil and changes it to dirt, and then it blows away. And our topsoil is what grows our crops, grows our coffee, grows your bananas, grows your mangoes, whatever it is in this world. And as Michelle said, we are both suffocating ourselves and starving ourselves slowly but surely. We are the frog in the pot, and the water is just getting to a boil.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to me that people still think it's important to figure out whether climate change is real or not.
I know. Yeah. And that's just in coffee, you will not meet a coffee producer who is a climate change denier. Yeah. You will not. We have not. Nope. We've been to a lot of farms, and it's obvious. Yeah. It is obvious what's happening in the world. You just have to get out of your manicured subdivision here in the United States where the grass is always green. And you pay some kid to mow it out into the real field, and you'll see it.
So if you really want to understand the doubt that's created around climate change, there's a really good book called The Paradigm Igloo. And, the tobacco industry employed all these attorneys and marketing people to create doubt about the idea of tobacco creating cancer and so on and so forth. They did a great job of it for a 30-year run. It finally caught up to them. The oil industry hired those same attorneys to create doubt on climate change. And the difference is with tobacco, we were just killing ourselves, right? But with climate change, we're suffocating the planet, right? So it's going to be really hard to recover from that. And, I want people, and this is probably overused and so on, but even if you don't give a shit about yourself and what the current conditions are today, you got to look down the line, right? I mean, so, it's a basic human instinct to want something better for the next generation. That's often why we put effort into the everything of what we do in our lives is to create a better world for the next generation. And this is really the first generation that is looking at it and saying, it's not going to be better for us. And I'm not just talking about climate change, it's the work environment and, just tons of other things. But suddenly that has just come to a halt.
You mentioned something really interesting there about the tobacco industry. And people who listen to this podcast regularly know that I have a particular disdain for marketers. And do you guys know how marketing was invented? No.
That's why I like hanging out with you, though, because you really get very good shit.
There is one plus to the way that I live my life, like on my own. It's that I spend a lot of time learning about things that some people think are irrelevant, but I think my clients will benefit from it. So it was Freud. Somebody went to Freud. Freud's granddaughter, I think, went to him and was talking about selling cigarettes. They needed to figure out a way to sell cigarettes. I'm sure I'm butchering this story, but this is the basic gist of it. And what they realized was that the advertisements that they were doing had men in them. And Freud said, you're using the wrong tool. Put a woman with a cigarette and make it phallic.
Yeah.
And then marketing was born.
Yep. And there you have it. Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. I mean,
100%.
Maybe it's apocryphal. I don't know, but I love that story and I'm hanging on to it.
And the thing is, and they've done studies on it. They've done studies on the fact that it was Freud that was the one that, or one of his direct descendants that came up with this. It's the insidiousness, like the hypocrisy, that it was that group of people who taught another class of people that what you should do is trick people to get them to buy things.
Yeah.
In our mastermind groups and consulting and stuff like that, like a lot of people come to me and they say, Lee, the part I struggle with in my business is that I feel like I have to trick people.
Yeah.
I don't like selling. And I'm like, then solve problems.
Yeah.
Solve problems and monetize it. Like, what does that mean? Yeah. I'm like, okay, find a thing that you can do in your business, whether it's coffee or whether it's your space, your cafe, whatever it is. Find a problem that it legitimately solves, whether it's access, whether it's quality, whether it's an experience, whatever it is. Make sure that it is something that has enough people that can buy your product and you can communicate clearly with them enough that you can create a business that's enough. You don't need to build something that's bigger than you. The problem is our industry has been sold this pile of bullshit from people who participated in the race to the bottom, and they left everyone believing that there's a whole fucking bunch of money in coffee, when in actual fact, a lot of those places are bringing in private equity to gobble up businesses that can enable another part of their business, and we come back to coffee being a conduit for other things.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're going to build a business in coffee, you have to understand, what does success look like?
Yeah.
And if success is you building world domination, this is not the industry to do it in. It is too hard to make money in coffee. You've got to build something that's enough for you and then figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. JAB was in a race to become bigger than Nestle.
Yeah.
But this year they announced, well, we're going to get out of coffee. We're going to get into insurance instead.
Fucking, you can't write this movie.
And I mean, after they've been pulling all these levers, right?
They were on the board of World Coffee Research. I mean, you can't write this movie.
No.
This past decade in coffee,
No.
you cannot write this movie.
No.
Wow. Okay.
No.
Speaking about the past decade of coffee, we're going to, in the last episode of the year, actually, we're going to talk about what the next 5 years in coffee looks like for the industry. So join us for the final episode, folks. I'm sure it's going to be a cracker. I can't wait for this conversation. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day.
I really hope you enjoyed this episode, friends. Please don't forget to show us some love by subscribing, liking, commenting, and most of all, sharing this podcast with your friends. Check the show notes for links, including our sponsors and our Patreon. And stay tuned for more great conversations on the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward.